Hello and welcome to another video. I am Stephanie and I am a professional artist, and in today's video I'm going to show with you the process of an oil painting on cardboard. Now, oil paintings on cardboard are something that I've started doing while I was studying oil painting with Evolve. I don't know if you've been following me for a while, maybe you've seen that video. And yeah, I really like the result, so it's something I want to make more of, even though I hadn't had much time, and I don't think I will have more time until next year. In any case, this specific one is actually from a drawing from my coloring book. I brought out a coloring book last year in November. I really didn't market it enough, but I suppose that's another topic. And in that specific coloring book, what I did was to make original drawings, and in my head all of those drawings could potentially become artworks. And so I'm sort of slowly making those drawings into finished paintings, and this is the case for this painting you see me work on. Now, the gist of that painting is a sink. It's a sink I photographed years ago during a tour trip. My mom really loves to go and see lost places or forgotten places. There are many tours around Berlin about those, and this one specifically, that sink, was a picture I have taken during a trip like that, and it was in Berlin Tempelhof, so an old airport. And I think it was in the bunker part of that airport, if I'm not mistaken. And in any case, I have a lot of pictures from back then. And while I was working on the specific coloring book, I was looking for interesting photos to work on and to use as references. Because what I like to do in my work is basically take something existing and then grow some nature on top of it. And then I decided to go with butterflies, and I have a great book about butterflies that I bought here in Vannes maybe a year ago or so. And I think it's called The Most Beautiful, or Guide of the Most Beautiful Butterflies, or something like that. No, sorry, I'm mistaken. It's not from that book. It's a book about insects in Europe. In any case, I picked 3 moths from that book from Europe and put them onto the drawing, and this is what you see me doing now. I'm just, painting them. So that's basically it. I'm also working Alla Prima, so everything in one go. That's kind of how we learned through Evolve, but I also it seems easy like that. So I don't really layer oils so much, at least not for now. Maybe I will at some point. But for now, basically, I do it all in one go. It's kind of nice to work with oils. It's very easy. The only part that is a bit annoying is the drying time. It's not fast. It takes a while, so that's not always fun, I suppose. I don't mind, but you have to factor in drying time, and also the cleaning is not as easy. It's not like watercolors or gouache. You just bring it out and you use water. Cleaning is fast. You can even skip cleaning. It's not going to destroy anything. But with oils, you have to... there's a bit of work to be done before and after. But once you're in, it's one of the easiest medium I've had to work with. It's much easier than watercolor or gouache. Because it's so forgiving, basically. I had a lot of fun with this painting, and actually seeing me paint now, I kind of want to paint again. Anyway, so that's kind of what's happening and what you're seeing, but today specifically I wanted to touch another topic, and I haven't scripted this video because I don't really have much time, I suppose. I don't have much energy to write and script the video, which I know it's bad, but I also think that it's okay, if that makes sense. I feel like I often put so much effort into videos and they don't get as many views as the amount of work I put into them. So I'm like, okay, I think it's okay if I don't script every single video, so I'm not scripting this one. But I wanted to talk about something specific, and that is art block. I'm not sure why I want to talk about art block specifically today, but yeah, here we are. So art block is something that I believe every artist will experience at least once in their life, if they're lucky, just once. Usually it's something that comes and goes. It's kind of part of the job description almost. So I'm pretty good with not having art block too much when it comes to art, but I have a lot of art block when it comes to making YouTube videos. As I mentioned just before, the non-script, not scripting any video or just going in like this, like raw, I don't usually do this because I overthink about it. And that brings me to the first reason most artists will experience art block at some point in their lives. And that is because they overthink everything. So when you do art, sometimes you will make an artwork that is better than the other ones. And usually what happens after a very good artwork or good one, you kind of fall down a bit and then you don't know what to do next, which is normal. And the key to overcoming that specific type of art block where you just don't know what to do is just to do anything that comes to mind. And once you start realizing that 90% of your ideas are just going to be average, but that you have to go through the average ideas to get to the good ones, then you're going to stop having art block. Basically, that's kind of the gist of it. It's not much more complicated than that. It's really about having an idea and doing it and judging later. I say that all the time, but it's really about doing it now, and then you can see if you like it or not, if you want to stop it or not. And I feel like that's the first advice I can give you, is to basically just do your ideas, and then you can always judge later if it was a good idea or not, if it was interesting or not. And maybe you don't even need to judge your own ideas, to be honest. The important part of being an artist is just to do the art and then, let the world decide if it's interesting or not. Just, go with whatever you want to do, and whatever is piquing your interest a little bit more, then maybe do a series out of it. Like for me, the oil painting on cardboard, I really like it. I know I have to work on it and come back to it and see where it can go, where I can lead it. It might be a dead end. It might be not satisfying to me in a year or so, but at least I have to try. And this is kind of what the only thing we can really do as artists, is to try and work and make the work and show up, but don't think too much about it. Just, go with what is interesting to you and try to connect with yourself. That means that you have to know what you want to do. And for that, it's really simple. You just have to feed your creativity with other things than art. So for instance, in my case, I've grown an interest in natural history over the last years. And so I read quite a lot of books about natural history. I'm also really interested in science. So those are things that really feed me. It's the same when I travel. I tend to go to botanical gardens. I tend to go to natural history museums because those are the places that inspire me the most. Now, it might be very different for you. I have a friend who loves painting food. So what inspires her the most are anything food related. So maybe, I don't know, food shows or trying out new recipes, going to restaurants, going grocery shopping. So all kinds of food is really interesting to her. So the key is really to understand what you like and to go full in. So the moment you realize, oh, I like this, I like cats, for instance. I say that because I see my cat coming in the room. Now, if you love cats, then maybe, I don't know, learn more about cats, draw cats, paint cats, do something with cats. It's really that simple. And once you get into the habit of just working and reading and seeing things that you are enjoying and interested in, then your artwork is going to be more unique, more personal, and more like yourself. I see that a lot, especially on YouTube, but I feel like everyone is copying everyone else. Everyone is doing Studio Ghibli studies, and nothing wrong with that, but it's basically just fan art. I love Studio Ghibli, but it's his art, it's not mine, so I don't want to lose too much time on that. It works, it's trending, I understand why people are doing it, but I also feel like, especially with social media, we have a tendency to do what we see others doing and less what we want to do as artists. And I think that's very dangerous, because it's going to be very problematic if you want to actually develop an artistic or an art career. Because if you want to be a fine artist, you have to find your own voice, and so you have to detach yourself from other artists. I often say that the art from other people is not the thing that inspires me the most. Usually it's when I see other artists' work, it's more about, oh, I need to get better at what I'm doing, and it kind of motivates me in that way. Or maybe I'm just, friends with those and I like to see what they come up with. But it's not really inspiring to me, because it's their world and I have mine, so I'm not sure if that makes sense. But basically, I find the real world is where I find inspiration, and not so much other artists. And I really think that's kind of the key to finding your own path as an artist. So when you have an art block, again, it's about not overthinking and just doing. So that's the main, or not the main, it's the first reason why you might experience an art block. Now, the second reason, and this is really important, because I think it's often overlooked, especially nowadays, although we speak a lot more now about mental health. But the second reason you might experience an art block is simply because you're burnt out, depressed, tired, just not feeling mentally well. I feel like this can be a bit tricky, because you might not realize that you're not doing well. You might not realize that you're actually super tired and that you just need a break. You have to kind of understand how you function a little bit more. But if you're really blocked, it might be that. Now, I'm not a health specialist. I don't work in the medical field or anything like that. I don't even go see a psychiatrist, even though many people I know do. I know my own brain pretty well, because, well, I'm going to turn 40 next year, so I have a bit of experience with it. But you have to find a way to understand how you function, how your brain functions, and learn to see the signs that tell you, oh, I need a break, I need to rest, I need to not work. And in that case, I think what is most efficient, and I say that because I had a burnout beginning of the year, so I've seen what it does. It's the first time I actually had a full-blown one. I almost had one a few years ago, but luckily stopped just in time before having one. But basically, what I experienced was lack of energy. I was tired all the time. It was really sad. With me, it's always a bit coupled with depression, but that's something else. But what really ticked me is that anything that usually was fun was not fun. Nothing was fun. So I sort of forced myself to do things that I knew would be fun, even though I wasn't enjoying them at that point. So for me, it was forcing myself to play video games, for instance, forcing myself to read fiction, forcing myself to watch movies, forcing myself to go out for walks, stuff like that. I even forced myself to do very easy studies in my sketchbook because I never experienced those as work. Because it's just copying a photo, and for me that's not really working. And at some point I realized I was enjoying those things again, and so, you know, slowly you build it up. If you need help, of course, go and find and seek help. I don't think it's brave or better to manage your own mental health by yourself. If you can, that's great. But if you can't, and if you really struggle, then of course go and seek help. It's just not worth it to just mop around and be unable to, you know, get up in the morning. So that's not good for you. That's not good for anyone. So if you need help, of course, go get some help. Anyway, so those are the two main reasons I can think of about art block. So first, overthinking. So instead of thinking what is the next best idea I'm going to have, just do whatever ideas you have and then you can judge later. And the second art block option is just being too tired and, you know, almost burnt out. And in that case, just rest, you know. Rest and see if in another week you feel more like it. That's pretty much it. You're likely not lazy, you're probably just tired. In our society sometimes we're always pushed to do better, you know, earn more, get a lot of money, hustle, work all the time. And I think that's not always a good advice. I don't think working every day all the time is great. Sometimes you just need to have fun and do something else, do some sports and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this today. I hope you enjoyed the process of me painting and also listening to the advice I had about art block. I hope you found it useful. If you watched until the end, please leave a butterfly emoji or any insect emoji so I know you've watched until the end. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all your support and being here with me all the time. It means a lot to me. Also, let me know if you didn't mind too much the unscripted video. It's actually often more easy to script and read a script than to go like this, especially for me because English is my third language, so sometimes it might be easier to just read a text. But I don't know. I hope it was still enjoyable, that you enjoyed this video, and yeah, now I'm really done. Have a lovely day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!